and welcome back to What the Tech. I'm Becky Cross, the Vice President of Client Partnerships here at Fit Technologies. On today's episode, we will have part 2 of our Pax8 Beyond series. In the last episode, we unpacked some of the biggest themes coming out of Salt Lake City, but now we're taking it a step further. Because the message from Beyond was very clear, the shift from managed services to managed intelligence isn't coming, it's already here. And the real question isn't about access to AI, it's about execution. So what does that look like from the top? How are Fit's CEO and CSO thinking about turning AI into real business outcomes, building scalable offerings and positioning the organization for what's next? In this episode, we're digging into exactly that. Joined with us is our CEO, Adam Tubbs, and our Chief Strategy Officer, Fred Franks. Fred and Adam, thanks so much for joining us today. I have to start with my favorite question, which is, what is one standout from the week? And it doesn't have to be a message. What's something that just was really special or a great experience that you had? Fred, you can go first.
Sure. Well, I guess what stood out to me the most is despite all the AI and all the things that we're doing, people are coming to conferences for one reason, is the human element. You're meeting people, you're getting to have face-to-face conversations, and that's still how business largely gets done. So even though we know AI is big and it's huge and it's going to take organizations to the next level, that human element is so valuable. People will show up, they'll fly across the country to be a part of that.
It's funny, the earliest conversations at the registration table where we're like, oh, everything's about AI, right? Like everybody's kind of addressing, but I think they did take it to the next level, which we'll get into. Adam, what about you?
Yeah. First, love Fred's response. I couldn't agree with it more. Just the people and the energy, that is why people go to conferences like that, and that was great. I think the thing that really stood out to me the most was just Salt Lake City. Honestly, I've never been, and to be in that city surrounded by mountains and the water with some of my favorite people was a fantastic experience. And getting there right as the Pride Parade was kicking off, what a way to arrive in Salt Lake City.
Yeah, I actually rolled my luggage through the parade. Yeah. So it was a great entrance to make, for sure. Awesome. Well, I want to start, Adam. We talked a little bit in our part 1 episode with Allie and Jason about this shift from managed services to managed intelligence. You've obviously observed this. Their big focal point in their keynotes was, we're not waiting for it, it's already happened. From your perspective, leading our business, which in turn then we lead our clients, where have you seen this shift the most? What does it show? How's that showing up?
Well, I could say last year when we went to the conference and they announced, that things are changing so rapidly, I think I, was a little cautious to that message. Mm-hmm. But I will say in the few months after that conference last year, I think we all felt it, where AI just went full hyperscale and everything that we were hearing about was AI first. So I think they were right on that last year. I think, this messaging is, very similar coming out of their conference as it was last year. And I think, we're starting to see all the things that people are trying to do in their businesses. For us, we're seeing a lot of opportunities with what we can do on just our operations side and making things more efficient for our teams internally, so they can continue to focus on, the more important value add services that they can do, instead of, focusing on ticket triage. Did this go to the right place or the right person? That's things that we can automate on the back end to make our teams really more efficient.
Yeah, and can you talk a little bit about Client Zero? Because I think you're kind of dancing around that, and I think it was a really important highlight.
I mean, it's so true and so important that we can't guide our clients unless we're doing it ourselves, right? And so we're testing out and we're doing a lot of things internally to make sure that we feel good being customer zero with, AI readiness, data governance, those things. We're trying out, chat agents internally, making sure that we feel good rolling those out to all of our employees. Just things that can help automate things faster for people instead of having to, for example, reach out to HR about what is this policy. You can create a chat bot that just, for your employee handbook, everything that you've already written down, instead of having to go to HR, to a leader, you can just ask the bot and it will give you the answer. Things like that are just simple, but make people's lives a lot easier.
And it's true. I think, for my teams working directly with the client strategically, when we have examples of things we've done ourselves, that sets the tone way better than hypotheticals. And with AI, the hypotheticals just aren't landing, and we've learned that. So I think that's a really good point.
I think the voice agents is really another good one where it's like, I don't think that voice agents will ever take off.
Yeah.
And then like you listen to one, you're like, dang, that's good. Like, wow, okay, that could work.
For sure. I think you can go from the hypothetical over the top all the way down to hypothetical, it can never do that. And when we say, hey, take a look at what we've done or somebody else is doing, it really opens up those conversations.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And Fred, sitting in the strategic seat, not only for our clients, but for us, I want to continue on sort of this client zero perspective. If execution, which is what Adam's talking about, actually building it and trying it out, is the difference maker, where should our businesses be focusing first?
Yeah, and it's the same thing we're doing is understanding your process. And as you get larger as a company, those processes have evolved. Sometimes for business leaders and owners, those processes evolve beyond what you originally remember. So going back and really understanding truly, like, this is how we do the key things that keep the boat going, things that keep us afloat. And those are repeated, those are necessary, and sometimes the accuracy is not always there. So those are the things that are really key to identify. Understanding where the information flows from and who is manipulating that data or making decisions along that journey. And some of those instances, those decisions have to be human-made. And some of those instances, it's a real basic logic. It's one of three outcomes. And so identifying that process is the first place I would start. And if you don't have that, then the conversation's really hypothetical.
And going one step further, you just mentioned sort of the process and the people part. Talk more about that. How do you get to that execution without losing that human connection piece? Because everyone still has that fear. Yeah,
they do. And I think a lot of people will jump to platforms too, just kind of to wrap that up. It's like on the tech side, there's like, well, I want this platform. And it's like, that's a great platform. It may not be the best use case. When it comes to the people side, I think that's the other piece that sometimes people get afraid of, like the whole job is going to go away, or this is the most important part of the job because it's the piece that if it goes wrong now becomes the thing that blows up and costs lots of money or costs customers or whatever have you. But it actually isn't the most important thing. When we talk about just like the conference, the most important part is the relational side, like that human-to-human interaction. When we think about, I'm working with this organization, you have people's faces to mind. That's what you're thinking of. This is who I'm working with. So who's processing that paperwork? Who's, how is that bill getting automated and sent out? We already do a lot of automation and people don't really think about it, but there's still the person I pick up the phone and I'm calling if there's an issue with the bill. There's a person I'm calling when I have a technology issue. So that human-human relationship is the piece that you really want to focus on. And a lot of times the honest truth is people would be a lot more successful if they could focus their time on that instead of doing the pieces that are rinse and repeat, necessary, important, but not really value add in terms of that relationship side of things.
Yeah, good points. Adam, I know you like to gamble.
What?
We've done some family slots together.
That's fair.
So where are you?
Accurate.
Yeah. Where are you putting your biggest bets on how people turn a lot of this hype in the next 6 months into real action? Where, based on your knowledge, is that going first?
Ah, man. Well, it's happening. And so I think, one, if organizations are not figuring out how to adopt it and adopt some sort of AI in their business or reimagine their business that was AI and automation built first at the core, they're going to have a lot of competition out there that is going to do that, because the barrier to entry for just about anything, any industry is lowered with AI and automation. And so, there's a lot of that goes into the relationship aspect that we talked about. But, when your costs are remaining the same and someone's doing it a lot cheaper, it's going to be hard, and maybe even better, it's hard to not make a switch to another competitor of sorts. Right. So my bets are, if you're not doing anything, you need to start, because it's going to happen fast and things will change big in the next couple of years.
It's true. And Fred, you and I were just talking about this morning. There are a lot of, regionally, just here in Northeast Ohio, a lot of conveners of mapping out the playbook for AI adoption. Yeah. So much that none of them are talking to each other. Everybody's building their own playbook or map of how to make that first step and make that first adoption. From your perspective, how do we get that narrative honed in and centralized or some kind of focal point so that people know how to start. Because I still think for some who haven't started, it's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And now there's resources everywhere you turn telling you how to do it.
Yeah, no, and I think that there's so many options.
So many resources.
I don't think it's like any of them are going to be bad.
No.
It's like, I don't know, we just discovered electricity, and so some people are going to tell you this is how you build machines that use electricity. This is how you rethink transportation with this thing called electricity. So they're all coming up from different perspectives, and there's not one right one. I think where every organization has to start with is understanding their business and what they're redesigning their organization with this new technology. And I think where a lot of people get stopped and stuck on is wanting to fully understand how this technology works to feel like then I could really maximize it. And I think that's the opposite end of the equation. You should really understand how your business works, where are those pieces and parts that would make sense to insert the technology, and then bring in trusted guides to say, let me help you understand what other people have done, or some of the pitfalls in these areas, or what could happen. We're like really on close to the edge to be able to have this next level of technology evolving with this. But being able to say, this is our business, this is how we operate, this is our organization's value, where we create value along the way, and then ask people that are more subject matter experts or have come along that maybe one step ahead of you and say, how have you done customer service now with this new technology in place? How have you done service delivery, billing, all those sorts of things, and have other people show you those things. So you don't have to be the expert in the technology. You have to be an expert in your business and understand where the pieces and where the value creation opportunities are.
Yeah. All right. It's 2027. We're getting off the plane and headed to Pax8 Beyond. What are we talking about? What are the keynotes about? Look into the future. I'm guessing, just a guess here,
Yeah.
it's going to have some round of AI.
Wow, you think so?
I don't know. It's just a guess.
I
but
was going to make one other bold bet. You know,
I
not a
love
bold
it.
bet.
Family thoughts here. We're all family.
Yeah, but I do think that in not even that far away, like 2 years from now, people are going to prefer to talk to a virtual agent rather than a person to get the answers when they're talking to any customer service. I would bet that.
Like if you're wanting your bill fixed or
If I want,
something like that.
like I think that it's going to know a quicker way to get to what I need,
Yeah, it'll have all the context.
and it's
that
can securely access my information.
Yeah.
Quickly,
Yeah.
rather than having to go through some approval process.
That's fair. I get to talk to some of these wealth management people that, this is what they do. And they say, people will tell you about their health, their personal lives. Money is something they don't want to talk about. But people are more than happy to log into a portal, connect in their money and all this stuff. So I think you're right. I think there's just a level of, there's pieces that we want a human to tell us the bad news, to be there in a moment of trouble. But when it comes to like, change this, give me status on that, I think you're right.
I think it could happen.
That's a good bet. That's a good bet. I think, we were talking about this at the conference. Pax8 just announced this, there's this portal, and I think a lot of providers like Fit and others are going to be building out AI tools that are built for the masses. So I don't think it's going to be huge this year. I think it's the seed has been planted. The platform still needs to be evolved and developed. But I think next year, in 2027, we're going to be talking about how that becomes actual. Some of the things that we've built and how do we put that into a platform for others, because we know it's something that people want to use and it could scale. So I think that'll be a big piece of the equation.
Yes, I thought that the whole thought around what they're doing on the agent store and how we're building agents within there that we can deploy to multiple clients, just helps all that efficiency for our clients, for us, to make it happen at a less cost, and things help us scale will be great. And there's a lot that goes into the billing side of AI agents that I think we all don't quite understand how to utilize tokens, but I think we're going to be talking about a new currency of tokens here in the next few years too.
Yeah, not to be confused with Bitcoin.
Right.
Yeah, so we're moving on to tokens and
Credits. You're out of credits.
So there's a lot for us to learn.
No more billing.
That's right.
You're out for the month.
It's all credit based.
So I think a lot of MSPs, from what I hear, are looking at their succession plan and exiting, because it is a new world that we're moving into. And when you just talk about, wow, I have to learn all of these new things, and some MSPs just are not up for the challenge, to be honest.
They're ready to be done.
They're okay with I've done it for 25 years, I'm done.
Yeah. I think that's a lot of people, a lot of the, some of those MSPs out there are definitely doing that because it's a new game now, right?
It is.
And I think one of the pieces that with that, with that marketplace and other things that we're talking about, for those that maybe don't even know, like agents is essentially you're training like you would a human to do actions and activities. And so as we get all these bots and all these agents, how we manage that, like how we manage billing the marketplace, right? How do we also manage it from a human perspective? Like, are they doing the job well? How do we upskill this agent? How do we train it? How do we evolve it? Or is it no longer necessary? We need to do something else. So much like we manage people and upskill them, there's going to be a whole area of field, I think, over the coming years around how you manage it well, how you have accountability. I've seen it on accountability charts, all that sort of thing. So I think it's coming too. So there'll probably be platforms emerging that help manage that. I know Microsoft has already put their, flag in that one. So
yeah. Pax8, I appreciate and shout out to Pax8 for helping guide, MSPs along this journey, because it is a lot to learn.
It is.
And if one thing's for sure, managed service providers are needed now more than ever.
That's right.
Just to translate all of these words.
That's right.
Yes.
More so than ever.
Right.
100%. Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you both for coming today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.